This segment brought to you by the Western Kansas Wildlife Travel Center in Oakley.
So while visiting back home and getting ready for Christmas, our favorite thing to do is head to the woods and get some greenery. So that's what my sister Denise and our cousin Diane and our friend Diane reminds you of my brother Daryl and my other brother Daryl, doesn't it? So that's what we did and had such fun. It was so wonderful to get outside. And I've got some, where is it here? I've got some things to share with you. This is a white pine cone. Aren't those beautiful? And this is one Denise had painted last year for Christmas, painted it silver. And this is ivy. And when you talk about breaking ivy, you know, the holly green and the ivy green, this is what they're talking about. It's actually mountain laurel. And, of course, a little mistletoe. And then we got some, gathered some Virginia pine. That's Virginia pine. And some holly, some magnolia leaves. Oh, and I am shipping a lot of these things back to Kansas for my own personal use. So watch out, post office. So, if you will, indulge me for a minute or two as we go tramping through the woods in the Blue Ridge Mountains. The hanging of the greens starts with the gathering of the greens. Greenery heralds the Christmas season, whether it is a wreath of pine or a sprig of mistletoe. For country folks, picking greenery is as much a part of the holiday as singing carols, and more welcome than a fruitcake. I took to the woods with my sister Denise, my cousin Diane, and our friend Diane. In the shadow of Fisher's Peak, which straddles the Virginia-North Carolina state line in the Blue Ridge Mountains, we broke ivy, trimmed magnolia, picked holly, gathered white pine cones, bittersweet, and great laurel clippings. Our grandparents and great-grandparents and generations gone before have done exactly the same, dragging nature's bounty back to the home place. In the past, decorations were simple, inexpensive, and right there on the farm. We recreated those times, getting outside, tramping through the ivy thickets and the woods. The dogs came with us, as happy to be in the woods as we were. The earth was damp and green, and the tree stumps were covered in moss and lichen. Galax leaves, once picked by mountain women and shipped to the Waldorf Astoria in New York City, sprang from the steep banks. We sang snippets of carols and old rock and roll songs and laughed in the fresh air. We talked the neighbor, Jason Hill, into shooting down some mistletoe. He brought his shotgun and we staked out a suitable tree in Uncle Buck's yard. A blast split the air and the mistletoe tumbled to the ground.
That's good.
We dragged our haul home and began filling pots and garden spots. My sister believes in lights, and she began stringing lights in the greenery. We tied the little sprigs of mistletoe with ribbons and waited for the kissing to begin. We worked until well past dark and left a pile for the next morning. In the meantime, I think if you look to the east, you can see the glow from my sister's house, and maybe the smell of pine will drift your way.
Welcome to the Western Kansas Wildlife Travel Center, right here in my hometown of Oakley, Kansas. We're the front door of Western Kansas, located on 3 main highways, I-70, US 83, and US 40. And all those roads lead to history, beautiful scenery, and adventure, no matter which direction you go. We now have an IHOP. That brand that you've trusted up and down the road in all your travels is staffed with local folks, real people, just like you and me, and we're waiting on you to join us. So for fun, adventure, fuel up, fuel your body, and let's have some fun.